in studio. Birmingham area, hottest show in the streets. Bringing you your Bama football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to be with you on a Monday, getting that work week started off for you correctly. Bama football taking this time for spring break. They'll be back next week for practice, but you're hooked on #1 ticket here for your Crimson Tide. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, smash the like button. That's what we're doing right now. Smash the like button. Drop that thumbs up. Give us a like right here on the show. Trying to get the show 50 likes out the gate to start it. Hit that subscribe button as well. Tap that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes down to your Alabama football content. Daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 right there. We appreciate that coming from all of you. And we got a lot to talk about, man. I mean, last week we had all shows from the home studio. We've had 2, 3, media viewing press conferences or media viewing access the last couple of days of last week. We had the first live media viewing practice. Eli, you and I both were there. That was Wednesday of last week. So much has happened. So much has transpired since last week. We want you guys to be a part of the conversation. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358 for them to call in and let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. My man, Big Bill! Bill from New York dropping that $7 donation here. Help us on the show. Appreciate Bill. But Eli, we get into topic #1 here of the conversation. And before I even touch on this topic, Eli, how different was it for you to be on the practice field Wednesday of last week, and for the first time ever, we're hearing music being played at practice? I mean, we didn't get this in 17 years with Coach Saban. The sound was just football flying, pads popping, players getting into it, coaches barking, Saban barking. That's all you heard. The horn blaring, that's all you heard. And that's a great sound. And that's an outstanding sound. That's a football sound. But for the first time ever, we walked into practice and somebody had the aux cord, somebody had the boom box, somebody had that playlist going. Because it was song after song after song after song, different genres, different energy. It was out there. A lot of stuff out there, but lots of out there. So Eli writes that Alabama had their own DJ. That is correct, Eli. Alabama football at Wednesday had their own DJ. I don't know who they put on payroll, but somebody was put there on payroll Wednesday of last week. But anyway, this is the first topic here of conversation. That being, we got a chance to hear from several players last week, guys on offense, guys on defense. And one of the players we got a chance to hear from, quarterback Jaylen Milroe, the junior from Katy, Texas. Got a chance to hear from him Friday of last week. And he talked about the reason why he chose to stay at the University of Alabama, the reason why he chose to commit and remain with the Crimson Tide, the reason why he chose to say, you know what, I am going to hear Kalen DeBoer's plan out. I am not going to jump ship and head elsewhere after Nick Saban retires. I'm going to hang around here and see what this system, what this philosophy, what this strategy of Kalen DeBoer is all about. And for doing this, Milroe will forever be stamped as a legend in the hearts of you, the Alabama football faithful, because he could have easily left, right? You have a 30-day window after Saban announces the retirement that shocked everybody, you have a 30-day window to test the waters. You have a 30-day window to look at the transfer portal. You have a 30-day window to survey your options, right? And several players hopped into that 30-day window. When you talk Caleb Downs, he did it. Caden Proctor did it. Earl Little Jr. did it, or Earl Little II did it. Roydell Williams did it. You look at names like Shaz Preston did it. Ja'Cory Brooks did it. Isaiah Bond did it. There were so many names. Kendrick Blackshire did it. There were so many names that decided to pursue that 30-day window of opportunity and hop into the transfer portal. And no shot to them. You know, they did what they felt like was best for them. But Jaylen Milroe, among others, stuck around, stayed 10 toes in Tuscaloosa, wanting to see what this Kalen DeBoer philosophy is all about. And Milroe mentioned his primary reason to stay was he made a commitment to his parents. He made a commitment to mom and dad. And that commitment was, guys, I am going to get my degree. No matter how hard it's going to be, no matter how difficult, tough the journey is, I am going to get my degree, and I am going to contend for a national championship. That's the commitment he made to his parents. That's the commitment he made to his mom and dad. And so Jaylen Milroe has that degree. He got it in, 3.5 years, Eli? So now, in his 4th season, all he can focus on is straight football. All he can focus on, straight football, getting better, making improvements, continuing to grow, continuing to rise, to try to put himself in a position to where maybe, possibly, potentially, under Kalen DeBoer, under Nick Sheridan, maybe Jaylen Milroe can be a first-round draft pick in the 2025 venue. But he chose to stick around to get that degree and to contend for a national championship. And not just him. We have other guys. Tyler Booker chose to stick around. Him loving the University of Alabama. Malachi Moore chose to stick around. Loving the University of Alabama. And, of course, having the slogan, if it ain't wearing crimson, you know what. Then you got Justice Haynes decided to stick around. I mean, all these players could have went anywhere, but they chose to hang tough here where the Crimson Tide is concerned and seeing what this Kalen DeBoer system is all about. This kind of reminds me, Eli, you remember Nick Saban first came in 2007? He wins a national championship 2 years later in 2009. Some people don't realize that 2009 national championship team had a lot of players, had a few players from the Mike Shula remnant. 13 players that were on that 2009 national championship team, Eli, were Mike Shula players. We're talking guys like Javier Arenas. We're talking guys like Eric Anders. I believe we're talking guys like Mike McCoy. We're talking guys like Greg McElroy. A lot of guys that came were part of that 2009 national championship team. 13 of those guys were Shula players that said, you know what? Chris Rogers was another one. Chris Rogers, throw him in there. These were Shula guys. They were like, look, we got a coaching change. We got a coaching transition. Some of my teammates have jumped ship. Some of my teammates chose to leave. I'ma hang tough. I'ma remain at Alabama, and I'm gonna see what this Nick Saban wave is all about. I'm gonna see what this Nick Saban system is all about. I'm gonna see what this Nick Saban tenure is all about. And those guys stuck around. And what happened? Got a national championship in 2009. Isn't this the same thing here, Eli? Isn't this the same thing? All of these guys, the Saban era, Saban regime, right? They could have easily took that 30-day window opportunity and went elsewhere. These guys on screen right here and more. Let's see what this Kalen DeBoer thing is really, truly all about. Got to take your cap off to these young men. And then when you look at Jaylen Milroe, getting the opportunity to work with Nick Sheridan, former quarterback himself at Michigan, 2006 to 2010, Nick Sheridan understands exactly what Jaylen Milroe's going through. Because Nick Sheridan went through a coaching change himself. 2006 to 07, when he was the quarterback in Michigan, Nick Sheridan had the legend Lloyd Carr. Then 2008 to 2010, Michigan has a coaching change. Here comes Rich Rodriguez. And Nick Sheridan had to learn a whole new thing. So he understands what Jaylen Milroe's going through. He understands the difficulty in having to navigate all of this, right? But then Nick Sheridan says, I call myself lucky to just be around Milroe. Special player, special person, super confident in him. I've mentioned before, Eli, like, this coaching staff is the one where Milroe's got so many quarterbacks on the staff he can pull from. You think about this. Nick Sheridan played quarterback in college. You're pulling from him. Brian Ellis, Alabama's tight ends coach, now coming over from Georgia Southern. He played quarterback at UAB, 2007 to 2011. Jaylen can pull from him. You got Mitch Dalen, who's an offensive analyst on staff. He played quarterback in college. Jaylen can pull from him. And then you got Kalen DeBoer, who played wide receiver in college, who's a elite offensive mind. Now Jaylen can pull from him. Look at all of these offensive dudes Milroe can pull from to be better and make himself better. Just awesome to see these young men remain strong in Tuscaloosa, wanting to be a part of what this Kalen DeBoer era has to offer. We're going to take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting you started here on a Monday. When we come back, we want to hear from you. We want your calls, your thoughts, your energy, your enthusiasm. Hey, line us up on the other side of the break. We'll be back after this.
Touchdown Alabama is a fully independent outlet that covers all things Alabama football. Founded in 2007 when Nick Saban arrived, we have been here through the entire Nick Saban era. In this new era, now is the perfect time to stay up to date on everything Alabama football and know what's going on, including everything that's going on with recruiting. Our website at touchdownalabama.com will always keep you in the know on everything that's going on with the Crimson Tide, and you can also get breaking news notifications with our app. We have over 100,000 followers on Facebook, over 60,000 on Twitter, nearly 30,000 on Instagram, over 30,000 on TikTok, and we're constantly growing. Also, be sure to become a part of this rapidly growing venture and subscribe to touchdownalabama.com to get inside and premium information on the team as well as recruiting inside the state of Alabama. We are constantly adding to our premium subscription package, so be sure to lock in now.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, here we go. We're back locked 10 to the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets. Number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys in here. Continue tapping the like button, giving us that thumbs up right there, raising those like levels up, hitting that subscribe button as well. Daily Super Chat Go, $100. Daily Super Chat Go, $100 right there. We appreciate the President Wayland coming in here with that $9.99, dropping the love in there. We got DJ Webb in here with that $4.99. Appreciate DJ Webb also. Folks, the A-Day game, ESPN was announced today. They will have the call for the A-Day game, April 13th. That's a Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Time, Bryant-Denny Stadium. You better be Wu-Tang Clan deep in there. A-Day game. 100,000 strong plus A-Day game inside Bryant-Denny. ESPN has the call, 3 p.m. Central Time. But we're going to go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Steven, what's up, man? Bill from New York.
Bill, what's happening, man?
It's all good. You know, it was really great to hear you read that name, the list of names of the guys that are staying. And they're good players, a lot of those guys. But the only heartbreaking guy to me was Caleb Downs. The kid was really talented, really smart. It hurt. But even Proctor at left tackle, I think we could replace him. You know, I've seen better freshman left tackles play at Alabama, so I'm not that worried. And as far as Milroe, it's great to hear what the things he's saying about him, and I'm glad he's got a lot of support. You know, I'm looking for him to get better. I think he needs to, for us to really take that extra step, and I think he will. It's what I think. And what I want to ask you, Stephen, I read all these articles, you know, I hear the podcast. I don't hear anyone talking about Quandarius Robinson. I don't get it. When I was at the Arkansas game, I was telling Diana, watch number 34. The guy was all over the field. I think he was the best special teams player we had. And he reminds me a little of Ryan Anderson. He's just in there. He gets to the ball. What's up? Why does nobody talk about him? Like, do you know what the plans are for him?
So Bill, good question there. So on Q-Rob, on Quandarius Robinson, I spoke with Kane Womack, a new defensive coordinator, Wednesday of last week. And Coach Kane mentioned Quandarius Robinson as somebody that they're going to have on the field. He's going to be on the field. His speed, his size, his ability to get after the quarterback as that speed rusher, he is going to get on the field. Now, he can stop the run also, but Q-Rob is going to be on the field. He has waited his time. People forget he came in that 2020 class with Will Anderson, with Dallas Turner. He was in that class. He was in that big 5-star studded class with those guys. So Q-Rob, this is going to be his year right here.
That's such a great point. Like, how was he supposed to break into the lineup playing behind those guys? And then last year, you know, it was a stacked deck at edge. But I think he's going to really, really be a good player. And listen, I'll let you go. Great to hear your voice, Stephen. I always tell you, your show is the best podcast on the internet. Keep up the good work, man.
Appreciate my man Bill from New York calling in on the show, getting started on Monday. You got to think about it, people. Q-Rob came in the same class as Will Anderson, first-round pick, Drew Sanders, who became an NFL draft pick, though he transferred to Arkansas. Chris Braswell was in that class too. And Braz is headed to the NFL draft. So it's crazy the amount of talent that Q-Rob had to kind of sit behind and waiting his turn there. But we take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you're calling from.
Oh, man, it's Monday night. If you need a sweet delight, go down on Emily's Pound Cakes. She'll treat you right. Stephen, what's going on in Birmingham, man? It's been a while. Tell me something good.
It's been a while, Wayne. It's been good, though. I mean, the guys, they're out for spring break. They'll be back next week continuing with football practice. But it's a lot of excitement, man. You look at what Coach DeBoer is doing on the recruiting trail. He's getting some guys in here. We're seeing these positional battles take shape, whether it's on the offensive line, in the defensive secondary, trying to see that number one receiver that can emerge. You got Caleb Odom. You move him from tight end to wide receiver. That's a lot of fun there. So some good stuff so far in spring practice.
Yeah, it sounded good. Maybe we can get down there and pack the place out. Maybe we'll have some good weather here by the middle of April. We'll see anyway. But, it's hard for me to keep up with all these coaches now, Stephen. I'm going to go to the tattoo shop, get them all tattooed on my arm.
I mean, weighing in between the coaches and the players changing their jersey numbers. I mean, for you as an Alabama fan, you almost have to either tattoo them on your arm or get you a roster and start recircling, because it's a lot of stuff that's being switched up that you're trying to keep your tabs on here.
You can't keep tabs on it. I don't think they want you keeping tabs on it. But yeah, we got a lot of coaches. You know, there's some coaches there with him. A couple of them, I think, had head coaching jobs. Am I correct? Or am I thinking wrong? It came to Alabama to coach with Coach DeBoer here. So that tells me that obviously they, that's a step down when you go from a head coaching job to an assistant coaching job. So obviously somebody must love the man real well.
I'll say this. Coach DeBoer has a charisma about himself that people just want to be around him. You look at Kane Womack. This guy was a head coach, a head man at South Alabama. But when the opportunity came up to come be with Coach DeBoer and be a coordinator, he jumped at the opportunity. You look at Nick Sheridan, who's been at programs elsewhere. Coach DeBoer says, "Hey, come with me." He comes and follows him. You look at Jamarcus Shepard. Coach DeBoer says, "Come to Alabama." He jumps up and comes. The same thing with Coach Linguist, Coach Hitzler. It's like Coach DeBoer says, "Hey, man, I'm coming to Tuscaloosa. I'm coming to fill in the shoes left behind with Coach Saban. I want you to come with me." And these coaches left everything to come be with them.
Yeah, they certainly did. It is a little confusing, but everybody will get, just got to get used to it. Get the names. You'll be used to the names by the end of the season of this year. I'll guarantee you'll know every one of them. But anyway, and the fans will call and let you know. They'll know who they are then, Stephen, by the end of the season. And then you'll know too.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm familiarizing myself with everybody, but like you mentioned, weighing in by fall camp and at least by the middle of the season, you'll start to know, okay, this is who everybody is.
I see it, man. All right, sounding good. Blue Ridge Gang looking good. TDA looking good. Great show, always a great show. Greatest show on YouTube. I've always said that and always will, no matter what. I love y'all, and I'll be back here maybe in a week, maybe a week or two there. I'll be listening in. Y'all have a good week. Enjoy yourself, and we'll catch y'all in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate my man Waylon, the president, calling in here to the show. And Eli, you know what? You're a basketball guy, so how about that comeback win for Bama men's basketball over Arkansas? How about that? I mean, Nate Oates, men's basketball, found a way to come back and get a win after it was in a slump there, had some tough losses, but you get a win over Arkansas and Coleman. That puts Bama Eli at 20-8, 20-9, 20-10. That puts Bama. Okay, yeah. So Bama's got the 20 wins on the season. So they got the 20 wins on the season. They hit that mark. They're trying to get the best seeding here for this SEC tournament. I know Tennessee is the 1 seed. Bama's the 3 seed. So according to Eli, Bama's the 3 seed here heading into this SEC tournament. Hopefully it can play its best ball there and create a strong seeding in the NCAA tournament. But gotta show some love to Dale B! Let's go! Dale B with that $10 donation, dropping the love in there. Appreciate that from Dale B. Cool call topic here, guys. Bama and the NFL, The NFL new year begins Wednesday. We got a lot of free agent movement going around. And for Bama players, there's been some movement happening. So let's get to the movement here. Mac Jones is finally out of New England. Been traded from New England to Jacksonville. So Mac goes back home to Jacksonville, Florida. He'll be the backup to Trevor Lawrence. So Mac Jones in Jacksonville. Jerry Jeudy, no longer with the Denver Broncos. The former first-round pick has been traded to the Cleveland Browns for a 5th and the 6th round pick. Jerry Jeudy teams up with Amari Cooper. The two South Florida natives are together again. Jerry Jeudy idolized Amari Cooper coming out of high school to play at the University of Alabama. Now Jeudy is with Cooper in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. There's that move there. You got Mack Wilson, who's no longer with the Patriots. He signed a 3-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals. So Mack Wilson going to the land of a giant cactus. Not at the Patriots anymore, with the Arizona Cardinals. Another free agent move here. You got Josh Jacobs, no longer with the Las Vegas Raiders. He's in Green Bay, the Cheeseheads. He is doing the Lambeau Leap. He's with the Packers now. So Josh Jacobs with the Packers. Joining Josh Jacobs is Xavier McKinney, no longer with the New York Giants. He's with the Packers as well on a 4-year, $68 million deal. So ex-McKinney, Josh Jacobs, both with the Packers. Now we have Landon L.D. Dickerson, who got paid. Howie Roseman, they ain't playing around in the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia backed up the Brinks truck and gave LD the money. Landon Dickerson signed in a 4-year, $87 million extension. 4 years, $87 million. $21 million a year. Landon Dickerson, the highest paid offensive guard in the NFL. He deserves it. 2-time Pro Bowler. So that's Landon Dickerson. And then you have Bradley Bozeman, as of Wednesday, will no longer be with the Carolina Panthers. They will be releasing him. It's going to be interesting to see where Bradley Bozeman ends up. But those are your guys, man. NFL free agency in terms of Bama players, different guys. They are moving around. The chess pieces are going all over the board here. But we take our break here, folks, in the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we get into some really intriguing positional battles going on in spring ball. We'll touch on those right after this. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh yeah, oh, man. Gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back locked and loaded to the action from the break. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Got my man Eli Walker from the production room this evening, handling everything behind the scenes here. Folks, in case you missed it, ESPN will have the call on the annual A-Day game for Alabama. The spring game back on cable. Not that streaming junk. ESPN has the Alabama A-Day game this year, 3 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, April 13th from Bryant-Denny in Tuscaloosa. Pack the place out. Show Coach DeBoer you're supporting him, the staff, players, everybody. ESPN has the coverage there on the A-Day game this time around. But begin the topic 2 of the conversation, and that is interesting positional battles happening in spring practice, and there are a lot of them across the board. Competition's a good thing. You guys want competition at every position. You want the best players on the field, regardless of classification. If they're the best, if they're the playmakers, if they're the guys that put this program in the most advantageous position to win a championship, get that guy on the field. Doesn't matter what classification that player is. So you got positional battles happening in spring practice, and we'll start off on the offensive line. The biggest one, in my opinion, is at center. Alabama letting Seth McLaughlin go to Ohio State via the transfer portal. Terrence Ferguson at Florida State now. You got 2 guys, according to Chris Kaplovich, Alabama offensive line coach. 2 guys are battling for the starting job at center, and that's former 4-star offensive lineman in the 2021 class, James Brockermeyer, by the way, of Fort Worth, Texas, All Saints Episcopal High School. You remember that 2021 class, the Brockermeyer brothers came to Alabama. That was Tommy and James Brockermeyer. Tommy, the 5-star offensive tackle. James, of course, the 4-star interior offensive lineman. Tommy ended up transferring back home to Fort Worth to play for Texas, for TCU. James stayed here at the University of Alabama. So James Brockermeyer is competing against Parker Brausford, the transfer from Washington, who helped the Huskies a season ago, their offensive line, win the Joe Moore Award for the nation's top offensive unit. Brausford also helping the Huskies win a Pac-12 championship and get to the college football playoff national championship game. So you got Brausford versus Brockermeyer. Coach Chris Kapp spoke on last week about how, Brockermeyer, extremely intelligent, very high IQ, very cerebral. He has picked up this offense lightning fast, like lightning quick. But then you got Brausford, of whom played in this offense at Washington last year. So he knows the ins and outs. He knows the checks. He knows the movements, the formations, the pieces, all of that type of deal. And Coach Kapp mentioned how you still want your offensive linemen to have size, but he also wants his offensive lineman to be able to move, right? To move around, to kick out, to counter block, to really do some things as far as opening up the run game and in pass protection as well. So that's one big battle there between Brausford and, of course, Brockermeyer for that center position. When you look at the offensive tackle spot, this is where Coach Chris Kapp is saying, we got to get some guys. We got to develop some guys we can trust. There's talent all over the roster, but you don't have that experienced guy at offensive tackle. J.C. Latham, now off to the NFL after having his services there as a right tackle for the Crimson Tide. You do have talent, though. Elijah Pritchett, he's back. He's a guy that can play tackle. You have guys like Wilkin Formby, who can play tackle. Miles McVay can play tackle. You brought over Naquil Bertrand from a transfer portal from Texas A&M at 6'6", 340 pounds. He can certainly play tackle. You got Onase Anine that can play tackle, though I see him more so as a guard. You brought in 3 offensive linemen in this freshman class when you talk Joseph Ionata, of whom I saw Ionata last Wednesday, Eli, get reps there at tackle. I saw Ionata get reps there at tackle. So you got Ionata, who can play tackle, Casey Poe, who can play tackle. You also have Will Sanders. I think he's more so of a guard, but Casey Poe, Joseph Ionata, those two can play tackle. So there's talent there. It's just having to be developed to where you get the two guys that you trust to be at both of those tackle positions, and that's what Chris Cap is working on getting done right now when you look at Alabama. In terms of the Crimson Tide secondary, that's where the fun is, because Coach Maurice Linguist, he spoke last week about you got so much talent in this defensive back room, including, the freshman guys. When you look at Jalen Mbakwe, 5-star in-state kid, you look at Xavier Mincy, you look at Xavier Brown, you look at Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., a talented in-state kid, you look at Peyton Woodyard in here. I mean, there's just, you look at Red Morgan, there's so much talent in this group. There's a lot of guys here in this group, and Coach Mo was mentioning how you're not trying to overwhelm the talent. You're taking them practice by practice, piece by piece, bit by bit. You are giving them small responsibilities, see how they handle that and grow with that, and then you add more based on how much they can learn and how much they can grow with the initial responsibility. And it's a great balance in the room. When you got young talent mixed in with Malachi Moore, who's got big game experience, mixed in with Damani Jackson, who's got some experience coming over from USC, Keon Saab, who's got experience coming over from Michigan. You have also Devontae Smith as a defensive back who got some experience last year. So it's a good mix. It's a good balance of young talent and older guys in the room. And Coach Mo, very familiar with Damani Jackson and Keon Saab. He recruited both guys. So he's very familiar with both guys. And to have both guys back with him at the University of Alabama, it means a lot to him. So this secondary is going to be fun to watch, people. Who ends up being your top two outside corners? How does it shape up there at secondary? I mean, at the safety positions? Could we see somebody like a Tony Mitchell start at that husky defensive back in that sort of nickel role there? That's going to be fun to watch. But Coach Mo Linguist, excited about that. You even got Caleb Odom. In the words of Kendrick Law, Caleb Odom is not a tight end. He's a wide receiver now. Caleb Odom, a wide receiver, now, 5-star, wearing number 18. He's out there running routes, doing his thing out there. I mean, it's fun. You got Kendrick Law. According to Jamarcus Shepard, he's got wide receivers working out at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, is Kendrick Law bringing back the culture, the ride outs? Is he starting to say, hey, I'm going to be this number one receiver in the room? Is Kendrick Law doing that? I mean, Jamarcus Shepard is speaking as if he's doing those things. So got some fun positional battles here as we are going through spring practice. But we take another break here, folks, in the show. Don't touch that dial, people. When we get back, we return to those phone lines. We're getting your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We want to hear from you, the Bama Nation, right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, here we go. Back into the action from the break. Number one ticket here for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man Eli Walker in here. Happy to be back in studios with you guys to get this work week started off for you correctly. Once again, continue hitting the like button, smashing the like button, tapping that thumbs up right there. Hitting the subscribe button as well, tapping the notification bell so you miss nothing when it comes down to your Bama football content. Gotta show some love to Adam Lamparello! Adam Lamparello with that $10 donation. Helping us out right there. We appreciate the love from Adam. Absolutely. People, ESPN's got the A-Day game. Now the streaming mess. ESPN's got the A-Day game this year, 3 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, April 13th, Bryant-Denny Stadium, Tuscaloosa. ESPN has the call here for A-Day, but we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. That's the number right there. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Adam calling from Georgia. How you doing?
Doing good, Adam. Doing good in yourself.
I'm doing great, thanks. I'll be really brief. Regarding Milroe, there's no question he is a great leader. He's an amazing athlete, and he's a great person. And I wish him, the best success that possible. But one thing I'll say is that, when people, and I've done this, have criticized Milroe, people react so negatively. But, we're offering criticism because we want our team to be the best it can be. I mean, look, he missed wide open receivers in the second half against Michigan. He often held the ball too long. He often ran too quickly when his first read wasn't there. And he needs to improve, and I wish that he does, and I hope he's the starting QB. But people seem to react so negatively when anyone criticizes Milroe, and it seems like they're not being objective. Well, you know what? It's not a popularity contest, and there's a reason that Ty and Dillon came back. And all I want is for the best QB to start. And I'm just curious what you think about why people are so negative when anyone criticizes Milroe.
I
mean, we're Bama fans too.
I feel like this. If you were to ask Jaylen Milroe, if it was just you and Milroe in a room, and you asked Jaylen to be honest with you, he would tell you a million things he needs to improve on. And Jaylen knows that. And he understands, look, in this offense with King and DeBoer, this is going to be an offense based on timing, based on accuracy, based on checking through all of your reads, based on making quick decisions. Milroe gets that. He understands that. He knows, okay, I struggled with 10 to 15-yard passes from either side of the boundary. If I'm going to be the starting quarterback, I got to fix that. Milroe knows I struggled with having those quick decisions prepared the moment the ball hits my hand and being able to process. If I'm going to be the starting quarterback, I got to process this information. Part of being an NFL quarterback now, you got to process the stuff because stuff is happening so fast. You got to get to read A to read Z in about 3 seconds before your hands get taken off. And Milroe gets that. So it's not you, Adam, being negative. It's you being objective. Some people just don't like to hear the truth. And if the truth offends, then the truth just offends. It's not the fact that you're being negative. It's you want the best product at every position. We want the best product at every position. In the last few years, we could objectively say at every position was the best product there? No. We can look at several players and say that's not the best product. Last season, we looked at Seth McLaughlin. Was that the best product at center? No. Somebody else could have been there. We can look at, another position. Was that the best product Bama had? No. There was probably somebody on the bench that could have given a better product. So that's what you want as a fan of this team and of the sport. You want, when I look at every single position, am I getting the best product?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the last thing I'll say is this. Look, I think the reason we lost to Michigan wasn't because Michigan was a better team, but they were a better team in that they were all in, okay? This wasn't all on Milroe. Our offensive line was terrible. Our defense had several busts, but I think Michigan had a more team-oriented mentality, and we didn't. And I think that's why Saban said 70 to 80% of the players were saying, how much money am I going to make next year, and am I going to start? Unless we have a team where people aren't in for themselves but in for the team, we're not going to succeed. And I just hope that's not the case this year, because I think we have the talent to win the national championship. But thanks for a great show. As always, Stephen, roll Tide.
Appreciate Adam calling in there. And Eli, you would agree with me, a lot of those players that Saban mentioned, hey, 7 to 80% would have been like, well, coach, how much more NIL can I get? A lot of those players, Eli, left in the portal once Saban retired. A lot of those players left. So the players that are on this roster, these are the players that are all about team. Jaylen Milroe is all about team. Tyler Booker is all about team. Jaden Roberts is all about team. Justice Haynes is all about team. Kendrick Law is all about team. Deontay Lawson, Malachi Moore, these guys are about team. So the players that remained, it's not about the NIL money for them. It's about playing for the man next to me and the coaches on the staff and winning a national championship. That's what's on the minds of these guys that remained. That's what's on these guys' minds. So it has me all the more excited for A-Day. You know, all the more excited for the spring game coming up next month here. But cool call topic here. And this was the big thing that people kept saying. Can Kalen DeBoer recruit? But can he recruit, though? But can he get these kids, though? But can he get these kids in the South, though? Can he recruit? Look at what Kalen DeBoer is doing. Kalen DeBoer, Eli, went down to my neck of the woods. Kalen DeBoer went down to Selma, Alabama, the South Side. I grew up, Eli, about 30 minutes from Selma. That's near my neck of the woods. Kalen DeBoer went down to Southside High School and picked up an elite 4-star athlete commitment by the way of Derek Smith. Dude was a straight animal at Southside, knocking people out. I watched his tape. I'm like, is this a wide receiver or a DB? Because he catch and run routes like a wide receiver, but he smoked folks like a DB, cleaning folks out. Like, man, the board, he ain't playing. He out there on this recruiting trail for real. I mean, ever since he's gotten to Tuscaloosa, he's saying, Hugh Freeze, you ain't getting these boys to Auburn. I'm snatching them quick. Kalen DeBoer is doing that, getting a 2025 4-star athlete commitment from Derek Smith by the way of Southside High School in Selma. My neck of the woods right there. But we take our final break here, folks. Don't touch that dial when we get back. We get into a final discussion on one king of Odom. Was this the right move to transition him from tight end to wide receiver? A lot of people had thoughts about this, and we'll wrap up the show with that conversation right after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama, and you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide roll.
All right, people, here we go. Wrapping it up here. Hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Bama football news. In studio, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. My man Eli Walker in the production studio. My man L.A. Miles in the chat line. He said, Steve, you from Selma too? I'm not from Selma, L.A. I'm from Marion, Alabama. Grew up in Marion, which is 30 minutes west. 30 minutes west of Selma. So I grew up around that area. I could hop in the car and drive 30 minutes to Selma. That was no problem for me. I was 30 minutes west there of Selma, but it's close enough that I know exactly where it is. I can get to it. I know exactly where it is. So King and the Boar nearing my area, Southside High School. Because Francis Mary, we used to play Southside High School. We used to play Selma High and Southside. So I'm very familiar with that area. So to see Coach DeBoer go down there and get Derek Smith, a commitment 4-star from Southside, crazy. That just shows you that man is out here really. Courtney Morgan is out here really recruiting people. Courtney Morgan, Freddie Roach, these guys, they're out here recruiting big time. But final thought here in this conversation goes to King of Odom, 5-star freshman, Carrollton High School in Georgia. Coaching staff really likes this young man. They love him. Nick Sheridan talked about it. But the guy's got a very physical frame, athletic, explosive, playmaker, can do a lot of things in this offense. Coach Jamarcus Shepard talked about the high school that Odom came from, prepared him for this level. Physical specimen, really likes what he can bring to the table. And then you got, of course, Kendrick Law saying King of Odom is no longer a tight end. He's a wide receiver. We got a chance to look at him Wednesday of last week in the media viewing period of practice. He looks good in that number 18, Eli. He looked good. I mean, running routes, catching the football, starting and stopping, moving around. He looked good out there. But the question is, did Alabama make the right move transitioning him from tight end to wide receiver? The reason why we asked the question is so many of you as fans were going, why did Bama move him to wide receiver? Bama doesn't have a lot of those playmaking tight ends. Really want to see Caleb stay a tight end and be able to start at that position and show that Bama has that true athletic, pass-catching, route-running tight end. Yes, it does have C.J. Dupree who can do those things. Yes, it does have Danny Lewis Jr. who can do those things. Yes, it has Ty Lockwood and Jay Lindsey who can do those things too. Well, Jay Lindsey a bit more of a athletic blocker right now. And then, yes, you still have Robbie Oots, who's sort of that H-back tight end. He can catch the football as well. But why wasn't King of Odom? Why didn't Alabama have him stay at that tight end position? Well, Coach Sheridan mentioned that, they wanted to get Odom an early jump start on his career. The young man at 6'5", 215 pounds. They did not want Caleb having to deal with 275-pound linemen blocking them off the line of scrimmage before getting to his route or dealing with, edge rushers having to block them at the line of scrimmage before getting to his route. So because of the fact that he is so gifted physically because he's so athletic, big-bodied receiver, can create that separation, get open. They said, you know what? Let's just make you a wide receiver. You don't have to deal with blocking defensive linemen. You don't have to deal with helping chip on edge rushing linebackers. No, we're just going to put you as a wide receiver and let you go to work. We're just going to have you as a wideout and let you go to work, working up against corners and safeties. That's what we're going to do here. And it's going to be fun to see the route concepts that Caleb Odom will be able to maneuver when he gets open, when he provides the quarterback that big target, when he's able to catch the football, get up and down the field. This year's spring game is going to be so much fun to watch him. And for us to get our early reactions of, wow, he's really that good. Wow, it's really going to be exciting to watch that dude play. Wow, like, if he's going to do this in the spring, what can he do in the fall? Right? If he's going to do this in the spring, what can he do in the fall? So, Caleb Odom, that's the reason why the coaching staff made that move there to wide receivers, to go ahead and get him jump-started on his collegiate career early. And I thought it was a good move. I thought it was a good move because Alabama's been lacking that physical, big presence at wide receiver, right? They haven't had that in a while. I mean, you had it with Julio Jones early on in the Saban era, but then other receivers that you thought would be it either got hurt and we never saw them come into fruition, or they just didn't pan out. And isn't it time for a physical, big-bodied receiver to pan out at Alabama? I mean, isn't it time for that? I mean, you had Duron Carter. That was a flashback name. Duron Carter, who came over JUCO, Chris Carter's son. That didn't work. I mean, he came in for a cup of coffee, it felt like. That didn't work. And then, remember Raheem Falcons, who came over, I think in that 2013 class. He was like 6'5". We were like, whoa, Raheem Falcons, let's go. That didn't pan out. And then remember Derek Keefe, came over from Ohio, 6'4". Injuries prevented him from being what he could have been. And then remember Cam Sims, 6'5", came over from Louisiana. Injuries prevented him. I mean, Bama has had some big, freakish 5-star, 6'5" guys that the injuries just, it didn't pan out. And of course, Ajayi Hall or Ajay Hall or whatever his name is. That guy, 6'3", 6'4", had the A-Day of a lifetime, picked up NIL deals after the A-Day, and that one just didn't pan out. But he had other things. That's why he didn't pan out. There were other things that were transpiring with him. The reason why he didn't pan out. So of all the names I just listed here to you folks, isn't it about time for Alabama to finally have a big, physical, big-bodied 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver to pan out since Julio Jones? I think it's time. Eli, is it not time? I think it is. So you got Caleb Odom, 6'5", head on straight, gifted physically. We saw clips of him in the bowl prep getting ready to face Michigan. He was out there doing his thing, dominating out there. We saw him first media viewing of spring practice last week. He's running routes. He's getting open. He's catching the football. He's making plays. It's time. Time to see a physical presence at wide receiver pan out of this University of Alabama football program. And why not Caleb Odom? So to me, I think it was a good move, him being transitioned over to wide receiver. I think Bama's got enough tight ends to make plays out there Let's get that physical, big body wide receiver to pan out. Work out for Alabama football. But as always, people, you want the best in news, notes, material, entertainment coverage on your program, that being the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You can download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, iHeartRadio, Google Play. We got you covered right there. Folks, we got a brand new site here for TDA. TouchdownAlabama.com. Get there. Check out the brand new site. Become a subscriber today. We got a whole bunch of stuff we are about to unveil. We're about to unleash on the brand new site. Podcast about to come out. Eli, you about to get a podcast, aren't you? Well, who knows? Our own Eli Walker may get behind this mic here. So we got a lot of stuff that's about to be unveiled. So get to touchdownalabama.com. touchdownalabama.com and become a subscriber today so you miss out on nothing. All things Alabama. You can be in the know, all of it in the palm of your hands, all of that at your fingertips right there. TouchdownAlabama.com. Good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be back, trying to be back on Wednesday to continue the conversation that is Tide football. Gotta give a shout out to you, the Bama fans, for all the calls today, all the donations today, super chats today, conversations today, your energy, your enthusiasm today. Appreciate all of you guys. Gotta show some love to my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.